Hi, many years ago when I was a young lad, I was married to a lovely lady, and we started a business for ourselves, and we were like this, really close. And being young and filled with excitement of life, we decided to get married and start a family. And so we did. And at first, the doctors said that I didn't have a high sperm count and so on, and the chances was going to be difficult. And anyway, my partner got pregnant, and a little baby boy came. And as you think to yourself, the way that you imagine life, how it should be, when you think you've got everything in order, um, it's like the universe pulls it from underneath your feet. And what your dreams and hopes and desires were soon come to reality that it's not always the case. And when little Nico came, one of the things that I really enjoyed doing was getting up in the morning and feeding him at night. I don't know why, it was just a beautiful feeling, you know. And even though I was exhausted, we both were, I just enjoyed doing it. So going downstairs, getting the express milk, warm it up, feeding him, and then him falling asleep on my bare chest and his bare body with his nappy on, and we fell asleep together. And it was really, you can't put it into words. It's impossible. It's just that connection and that feeling and the heartbeat and the spirit to spirit. It was just magical. I mean, if I was ever as close to anybody that was at that very moment, then it was something you, again, can't put into words. A few months went by, and things started to go rapidly wrong with the relationship. And the day came where my partner says, I can't be with you anymore. And I remember going upstairs, packing 2 suitcases. Now, just bear in mind, this has never happened to me in my life before, so this is all new. So you can't express the feeling of suffering. It's impossible. And people will laugh and say, oh, you're only splitting up, you know, worse things happened to me at war. Yeah, I know, but everybody's pain is relative. And my pain at that point was like, you know, walking down the stairs with 2 bags. I always remember this, and feeling broken. And I'm sure my partner did too, because it's an awful thing for both of you, you know. Walking down them stairs, and this realization that all I kept thinking was, I'm never gonna sleep with my son and be in this house with my wife ever again. It's finished. The dream, that life that we thought was going to be life, and the happy marriage and growing old together and all that, is just gone. It's just boom, that's it. Like, and the tears pouring down my eyes, and then the feeling of you know, not so much blame, but more because deep down you all know that we all played a part in it in some way or another, whether we knew it or not. Like, okay, you know, and now you're walking down them stairs, but that was just that one thing kept coming back all the time. That was the suffering of not being in that place to be able to feed my son again and do what, you know, we did. That special moment that can't be described. So I walked out, and I went down to the auction house. I had a place called Huddersfield Auctions, and I only told Paul and Yvonne, my best friends. In fact, the night I was doing an auction, Yvonne came through the back, and I had a back door, and she came in the back, and I just burst into tears, and I said, she's left me. She's left me. And Yvonne says, oh my God, and she gave me a cuddle. Oh, and I got up and did a full night's auction. That's the strength within us. We've all got it. We just get up and just continue. So yeah, I did a full night's auctioneering that night. Everybody left, and the doors shut, and it went quiet, and in the stillness, that's when the pain happens, and actually that's when the answers come, but we tend to see it the other way around. So in that moment of realization, I went into the back and there was a box. I'll never forget this. There was a box that I'd cleared out from a property, and it was all medication that I didn't throw away yet because it was going into the next auction, because I had a back section with every auction. There'd be new things coming out, and there was all these tablets. I didn't know what they were, but I thought if I put enough in my mouth I might end the pain. So I brought them out, and this is how crazy I was. I wasn't in any kind of place, but I didn't even have a glass of water. But you can't even do it right, can you? Oh, if you're gonna do it. So I fell down on my knees. There was like spit coming out of my mouth and tears pouring out of my eyes because of the pain, because I was crying that much, and my heart was squeezed so tight, and it felt like I just wanted it to end. So I got these tablets, and there was two brown plastic jars with white tops, and I was like trying to get them open, crying. I couldn't even open them. So I bit, and I remember hurting my gum because I bit so hard and I hit my gum, and I just poured them in my mouth, all of them. There was about, I don't know, 50, something like that. And I'm just about to try and swallow them and figure out trying to swallow them because I ain't got any water. And at that moment, I heard a message. And it was a message from, I believe, our spirit world. Now, bearing in mind, my mum died when I was 12 years old. And I didn't believe in God or anything, because why would you take a beautiful woman away? There's no such thing as God. He would never take a beautiful woman away and leave an abusive father like mine. So I heard this voice, and it sounded familiar, but in the chaos, I wasn't really listening too much, and it kept repeating itself. Look at what you're doing. What are you doing, Mark? Look at what you're doing. Until I snapped out, and I remember the tablets in my mouth, and they were just dropping out of my mouth as I was hearing this voice. My pain started getting less and less as I'm just stood there on all fours. And then I started to hear the voice, which was getting louder and louder inside me. And the voice helped me to see that at that particular moment, it helped me see what I was doing. And that was, I was about to never see my son again because of the suffering that a woman had declined me, and that was everything of my life. And what she was trying to reveal to me is that it wasn't everything in my life. It was just a little part in a long episode of my journey. And the voice said, you are going to feel so much pain through life, but you're also going to feel and experience so much joy every day. And this is part of your journey. And I kept looking, thinking, I had these tablets, they're still in my mouth, and the taste was so horrible. It was so bitter. And I started to spit them out as I was listening to the message. And I have to admit that there was a bit of anger in me then. And that anger was, what the hell am I doing? Because of a woman and what she's just said to me. Why am I allowing this woman to make me want to take my life? So I spat them out. I got up, and I'm here today. It's Father's Day today. And I've made this message for some fathers who may be at a point in their life right now that they're going through something similar. Not the same, but similar. And they feel lost. They feel there's no point living. They'll feel feelings of depression, anxiety. They'll feel like there's no path, there's no light, there's nothing left. And yet here I am. You see, what actually happened was, exactly what needed to happen. And I can only say that now because I am where I am. And you're not. So your listening to this message may not mean anything to you at all. But what I am saying is that you can only truly understand why this is happening to you in the future and not now. What I can tell you is this, that the suffering that I went through thereafter of not seeing my son every day and not having the connection with my wife and splitting up, and then him having another dad, which meant that he had two dads now, which was better than one. It's good. It's a good way of thinking, honestly. It's great. You've got two dads. You've got two perceptions now. Two people telling you, as long as he's not a divvy, as long as, and Mark wasn't. Mark's isn't. He's still here. He's a good lad and very clever businessman. And yeah, really liked Mark. Really liked him a lot. So he had two dads, both called Mark. Rich dad, poor dad, I used to say. But I wasn't poor. I was rich as well, in spirit. I didn't have the relationship that I guess I wanted, but I definitely got what I needed. And today, right now, my son makes me the proudest father in the world, just like my daughter, China. Nico is an incredible father. I didn't see much through his childhood, every now and again, but we've become closer these past few years. I think we both have a respect for each other that we couldn't have had back there. Now he's old enough to make his own decisions, his own thoughts, and he's able to see and read between the lines of what happened, and does it matter anyway? And it doesn't. What matters is his dad is always here and he's proud of him. And that as he's grown up, he's seen through all of the things that he's been through, that his dad is actually not a bad guy. Bit of a crazy idiot wearing silly tops and talks about damage and stuff, but you know what? He cares. And the respect I have for him is phenomenal. What his achievements are, even if he didn't have any achievements, still have a massive respect for him. Not just because he's my son, because he's a decent bloke. He's a good lad. So I guess my message to you guys is, yes, I'm sharing my personal message and you're wondering why, what's that got to do with me? Well, I've been a healer and sat in a chair next to people like you going through the pain and suffering that you're going through, saying that, will I ever see my son again? And, you know, he thinks I'm this because of his mum's, you know, poisoning him, his mind, and now he hates me and all that. And I say, this is his journey. You see, he chose his mum and dad, and you chose him. And you also chose your wife before you came here. It's a very difficult one to grasp, and you've probably all gone by now. But the truth is this: if we can see beyond the pain and beyond our selfish needs and allow the circumstance, the situation to just flow without pain and suffering, but to be stronger than the pain and suffering, however you decide to deal with it, however you think about it and say, okay, I can deal with this now because of this way of thinking, because that's what it's about. You're going to have to figure it out up here, what sits well with you. So did I hate my ex-wife? No. Did I love her? Of course I did. Did I stop loving her when we split? Of course I loved her. How could I stop? How can you stop loving somebody? You can't. Ridiculous. So that doesn't help. Blaming somebody else doesn't help. not going to fix anything. In fact, I remember going to the house where I left. That was the house that we bought. And of course, it was important that she had the house because it was for Nico as well. So that was the agreement. You live there as long as you need to for Nico to grow up. And I remember working at the auction, going to Sainsbury's and bringing bags of food up, putting them outside on the doorstep and going away crying. Why? Because it was more important that they ate healthy, because my partner didn't have a job then, so I still had a responsibility no matter what happened. At the end of the day, whether it was entities in the house that split us or whether it was our own path and journey because we chose that, doesn't really matter, because there is no blame and it doesn't matter what happened. What matters is how we coped with it. So I say to you, how are you coping with your breakdown, your relationship with your ex, and how are you coping with maybe not being able to see your child? Maybe you haven't seen your child for a year or a week or a month, or maybe you haven't seen them for 16 years. How are you coping? Does it hurt? You see, sometimes there is a point where we feel this pain in our heart and soul because we wanted something so desperately to be the way we wanted it because of the brain and the mindset that it's hard to snap out of any of those thoughts of suffering. But when you step back from the bigger picture and look at it as a whole, would my son have been better with me and my first wife? Probably not. Did he experience life in a tremendous way? Yeah, he did. His dad had a helicopter. He got to travel all over the world. He went skiing, Switzerland, he went to France, he went everywhere. He had a motorbike, he had land, because his dad had all of this. Is that beautiful? What a great start. What a lucky lad he was. Am I going to take that away because of my selfishness, because I'm his father? Maybe I was just there to bring him into the world. And maybe I'm here to observe and see him grow up from a distance as I did, and not see him as much, and look how it turned out. Proud dad. Bitter about nothing. With my hand on my heart, I am thankful. Why? Because of this moment and everything that I've been through up to this moment. I would not be the man, the soul, the spirit that I am without that happening. In fact, I don't think I'd be the same person. So I am so thankful. If you too can look at your life, even if you're in pain now, and say maybe, just maybe, there's something far more. And my rejections are Spirit's protections. And maybe, just maybe, this is an amazing part of your life. And things are going to be incredible. And I know that I can't see it now. But one day, I hope you will. And look back and say, yeah, Mark, it's right. I suffered. And the day I stopped suffering because I said, this is no good. It's not serving anybody any good. And I decided to change, Mark, because I saw your video. And now I'm going to create a new life. And if I'm meant to be with somebody else, I will. And if I'm not, I'm not. But I'm not going to let my last relationship ruin my future relationships. I'm not going to suffer every day that I haven't seen my child because my partner doesn't want me to see them anymore. And maybe I need to now start to look at myself and work on me. And maybe if you look at yourself like I did and realize, actually, you're not such a nice guy sometimes. You've got a temper. You're not really as loving as what you could be. You could be more of a brighter light. You could be more positive. You could work on yourself. So maybe I'm going to spend time now to work on me. not because of my partner, but because of the situation that happened. And I want to grow and learn from that situation. Not that I don't want it again, but I want to experience it and feel it and say, okay, how can I improve and grow from that? Because normally when you do, you never have to go through that again. The only time it happens again is when you never actually truly get why that situation happened. Like I said, your children choose you. So whatever happens, your child chose you because they knew what was going to happen. It's a kind of agreement before we come here. So there is no right and wrong. There just is these divine moments that can sometimes cause great pain, but they're still divine moments. Just like they're divine moments when we're rescued from a load of tablets in the mouth. Things happen on the journey which guide us to the lessons, to the experience that we chose here to come and feel and understand and grow stronger by way of seeing how we can conquer that suffering and that pain and that depression and that moment of wanting to take our lives. So if you take my story and put it into a nutshell, I, like you, have a beautiful children. It's incredible. That's all that matters. They're happy, they're healthy. That's all that matters. And I'm proud, just like you are. And one day, when we're meant to be together, we'll be together. But that's not for you or me to push or force. Let the universe deal with that. Let the spirit world deal with that. Let this incredible energy help this to happen in a way of you keep doing your best. Keep going. Keep being you. Don't be the sad you. Don't be the angry you. Don't be the bitter you. Don't be the jealous you. That's not you. That's just program. Clear the program. Work on you. Be amazing. Keep shining. Keep working from the heart and doing what feels right from the heart. And in time, everything will be revealed. That is my story today to all the fathers out there. This isn't discriminative in any way because mothers go through the same thing as well. It's just that it's Father's Day, that's all. And it's my story to all the fathers out there who haven't seen their child, who haven't received a "love you, Dad, you're an amazing dad." Doesn't matter. You are. You don't need confirmation. You are. Have a great day. Well, they haven't contacted me. Well, maybe they're busy enjoying their life. Maybe they're busy doing other things. Maybe their hands are tied because they can't, because of the guilt of their mum or whatever, but it doesn't matter. Because if you are a good dad, you know it inside. You just do your best. And your best is your best, whether it's good or bad, it's your best. And that's what you did. And that's what we did. Anyway, you're in my heart, and I'm here to tell you anyway, you're a good dad. You really are. So do what I do. Send a big, happy hug to your children. But most importantly, send an even bigger hug to that beautiful woman that had your children. Hey, you both did something right. Happy Father's Day.